Your equipment is what GearJot is all about. In this tutorial, I'll show you how to create, edit, and manage all of your gear. Clicking the gear link at the top of the page takes you to your company's gear list page. Here, you can view all of the gear in your company, as well as sort, filter, and search to find a piece of equipment that you may be looking for. With the filter tool, you can narrow down the list of gear to meet the criteria that you set. When you are ready to filter the gear, click the search button. Clicking the map button at the top will display a map of all your gear that has location data attached to it via a telematics integration. To learn more about GearJot's telematics integrations, please watch our videos on the telematics providers that we support. To get back to the gear list view, simply click the list icon at the top right of the map. If you need to have a spreadsheet of all your gear, you can download one by clicking the Export As button. There you'll see options for download as a CSV, XLS, or XLSX file. Click the file type you need and it will start downloading. To add a new piece of gear to your company, click the Create Gear button. The gear modal will then be displayed. The first two telematics fields are optional. If you have not added any telematics integrations, or the piece of equipment that you're adding is not going to be connected to telematics, do not worry, you can leave the telematics provider and telematics provider unit fields blank. If you have added telematics integrations to your company in GearJot and want to attach a telematics provider to this new piece of gear, you'll first need to select a telematics provider. After you have selected the provider, the telematics provider unit dropdown will be populated with all of the units that use this provider. Select the telematics provider unit that you wish to be attached to this piece of gear. Depending on what telematics data is provided, certain fields in the gear form may be auto-filled once you select the telematics provider unit, as this data will be automatically pulled from your telematics provider and you won't need to manually enter this. Continuing on, you'll need to select the type, make, and model of this piece of gear that you want to add. Please note that the model field is dependent on the type and make field, and not every type and make combination will have models. To add gear types, makes, and models, please watch our video on company administration features. Next, please enter the unit number for this piece of gear. The unit number, which you may call the asset ID, is a unique identifier used within your company and GearJot for a specific piece of equipment. Serial number is an optional field if you want to keep track of this as well. If this piece of equipment is not connected to telematics, you can manually enter the current operating hours and mileage of this piece of equipment. You can also add an optional description. After the description, you'll notice the thin dividing line. Fields below this line are optional custom fields that are set on a company-wide basis for all of your gear. To learn more about setting up custom fields, please watch our video on company administration features. After you have double-checked all of the information and you're ready to save, click the Create button. Upon successful creation, you'll be directed to the new piece of gear's details page. A piece of gear's details page gives a quick overview of that piece of equipment, with easily readable widgets for current task assignments, up-to-the-minute mileage and operating hours, as well as location and many other details. If you need to update any information for a piece of gear, and you have company admin permissions, you can click the pencil icon at the top right of the General Information widget. Since this already looks good, let's click Cancel to make this modal disappear. But if you need to make any changes, remember to click the Save button. After clicking on a piece of gear's link, either in the gear list page or somewhere else within GearJot, you'll then be in that piece of gear's context. You'll know you're in a piece of gear's context when you see the gear icon, make, model, and unit number in the top left under your company's name. Also, there'll be a slightly different set of menu options. At any time, you can get back to the company context by clicking your company's name at the top left above the gear icon. When in the context of a piece of gear, the pages that are also available in the company context, like feed, tasks, forms, service alerts, and jots, will be filtered to only show their respective content that is attached to the piece of gear whose context that you are currently in. For example, when viewing the feed page for this piece of gear, you'll only see feed items that are directly connected to this piece of gear. Similarly, when viewing tasks, forms, and the jots page. The service alerts page is a little different, as when viewed in the context of a piece of gear, you'll see the current status of this piece of gear for each service that it has been assigned to, as well as links to any open tasks that have been generated from these services. As you can see, for each service, you'll see its progress as both a percentage and a number of its respective units. That concludes this tutorial on gear. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you still have some questions about this topic, please add a comment below. I highly recommend checking out our other GearJot tutorial videos, as well as subscribing to this channel so that you'll know when we post new video tutorials helping you get the most out of GearJot.